Good morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead Micro Moment Monday, where today we're doing part 2 of apple drop vinegar. So here are our 2 jars after 2 weeks. And the apples have become mushy. They're very boozy right now. Most of the fizzing is actually over with. And it never did fizz up a whole lot, but it fizzed all the way in through here. And that's what you want to see, is a lot of bubbling as the yeast works on the apple juice, which this has become, and turns it into alcohol. So the fermenting for the second step has already begun. We've got bacteria that are now working on converting that alcohol into acetic acid. And we are shooting for a certain pH. So I've got my little data book right here where we started our vinegar a couple of weeks ago. And when we started, you may remember, the pH was about 6. Well, since that time, I have purchased a different kind of, well, pH paper is pH paper, but it has a different scale on it. And the scale on this one is from 0 to 6 instead of 0 to 14, meaning that as we look at, and I'll put this down and Jim can come in a minute and get a closer up of it.
A closer up of it?
A closer upper.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
And so it goes in,
there we go.
It goes in half points instead of full points, which gives us a more precise measure of the acidity here. So we're going to take the pH of these in just a few minutes. The second step, as it ferments the alcohol into acetic acid, which is vinegar, it does not require the fruit. So we're going to get rid of the fruit. And I'll tell you, the fruit flies have been lurking on the top of this quite a bit. It's still a little alcohol-y, but I can already tell that it is beginning to work on the acetic acid because it used to be a whole lot more boozy. So notice that the holes in this are quite large. So I'm just mostly after straining out the fruit. A lot of the debris from the fruit will go through. Now, I don't want to lose anything that's in this jar, so I am just going to reuse this jar. And let's take the pH of this one. So for this pH paper, I just grab the tip end and just rip off a little bit. Now I got this extra long because I'm going to use both sides of it. So for this side, I'll just dip and we get quite a green. So let's take a look at this and see where it is. So I think it is at 4.
Yeah, 4.
Is that what you think, Jim?
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
Get some out of the way. Okay.
All right, so we are at a 4, and that's where we were a week ago. So as this fermentation takes place, we hope to get it down to where it is at about a 3.5 or even a 3. So I don't know if we will make it that far, but we're certainly going to try. We're going to give it lots of time. So I'm just going to pour this vinegar back in here. It has everything it needs to go ahead and ferment. It is an aerobic process, so we want oxygen available to go in there. And just in case you're curious, no, I did not taste it. I don't do alcohol, so I was not about to taste that. But I will be tasting the vinegar. So there is that. We have about just shy of a quart, probably about 3 cups. Okay, so let's do our next jar. This one smells a little more boozy. Looks like applesauce in the bottom here, but that's just fine. And again, I don't want to lose any of the bacteria that may be in there, so I am not going to strain that out. Now, when we get ready to jar up the vinegar after it's done, then we will put it through a much finer strainer and get some of that out. Now, there is mother in both of these. Mother is developing here, which is what we want. And when we're done, that mother will be floating on the top in kind of like a little round island. Okay, let's test this one. I think it's probably the same. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, it looks like it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. All right, so it's also a 4. Hopefully, as we go forward for the next 2 weeks, we will see some decrease in pH here. I'm going to just rinse off some of this other stuff at the top. I don't want to have it get up there and get dry. Okay, so now we're ready to put this back on. So a couple of different colors, about 3 cups in each of these jars. And I could combine them, but I'm not going to. I have had the most fun watching this process up close and seeing the changes. It took almost 4 days for it to really start fizzing, and then boy did it ever fizz. But I could have put more fruit in, I could have put more water in. So next time I'm going to do that. It doesn't fizz up way, way high. Perhaps yours does, but mine didn't, and so I'm just going to go on what mine has done for future reference. So we'll let this go another 2 weeks, and then we'll test the pH. I'm probably going to let one of them go for about 2 more months to really develop a good mother and have that mother floating on the top like a little island about this thick. And then we will be able to use that for making all future vinegar, and we can ensure that it has what that mother is a colony of the yeast and the bacteria and the cellulose that is there, produced there. And it is a great way to just jumpstart another batch of vinegar. And even though we use this with some apples, we can use the mother for any fruit that we wish to. So here we are for our next step. So I will see you in about 2 weeks for another check-in on apple drop vinegar. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you very soon for another video.